All right, we ready to roll? There's nobody standing there right now. It's just me in here. It's time for those of you keeping up with the channel. This is the video I tell you about my movie because honestly, I just really need your help. About 4 years ago, I started this YouTube channel.
My name is Danny Gevertz, and welcome to my first YouTube video.
The goal was simple: give back to the same community that helped me get started as a filmmaker. I did this by documenting and sharing my growth from a crappy filmmaker to where I am now, I guess. As the years went on, the videos got better. I've become more myself, and over 200,000 of you have been able to take away bits and pieces that have helped you grow in your own filmmaking adventures, which is so cool. 4 years later, I feel like I finally know what I want to share with the world through film. I took that first step. I spent about 8 months writing a screenplay that draws on 28 years of experiences I lived through, people I've known, hated and loved, ideas that have both haunted and excited me. I just feel like this is my time to take that next leap into my career as a filmmaker, which is making a feature film and taking you along with me, like I always have. Am I technically ready to do this? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever been ready to take the next step in my career within filmmaking, but since I started doing this, I've never really been afraid to just kind of dive in, look for the tallest cliff around. 120 pages later, here it is. The thing I am absolutely most proud of in my career. Now for the name of the film, if you haven't read it already. Little drum roll. This film is called I Think I'm Sick. This story right here is written as a dark comedy coming of age that I feel like is very unique to my personality. And without giving too much away about the story essentially goes like this. It follows the senior year of a boy named Will, who after a failed attempted suicide, gets a second chance at life. But instead of having this cliche rebirth and this full of gratefulness to the world for this second opportunity at life, Will very much feels like he doesn't regret his decision to try and take his own life, and he fears as though he's going to try again. Here's a quick excerpt from one of Will's monologues early on in the script. A man once jumped from the Golden Gate Bridge. Well, a lot have, but this guy, he lived. It's a 245-foot drop before you smack into the freezing cold bay below. Just a little over 4 seconds of falling. The man said he regretted it the moment his last fingers departed from the rail, but I think like a sea lion saved his life or something. It's a really good story, but I don't know. Everyone keeps telling me there's a reason I'm still here and all. I want to regret it. I really do. It's just the only thing I truly regret is not using a gun. Yeah, really bringing down the mood here with that one. So where's this coming from? I've always just kind of been this just intrinsically sad human being just hiding behind a smile. Shout out mom and dad for making sure I didn't have crooked teeth growing up. I cynically have always believed in the idea that 95% of life is just drudging through absolute shit. But there's this like extra 5%, these little precious moments that kind of make it all worth the while. There's those moments in your life where you sit back and you think to yourself like, fuck, like I'm so glad that I was here for this, that I'm experiencing this moment. Now as a 28-year-old mature-ish man, I know that, that ideation isn't completely unique to myself, but as a young adult, when I was around 18 years old, I thought I was alone in these feelings. I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought that I was sick, and hence the name of the film. But for someone who's young and in that situation can kind of be a really dangerous thing. Sometimes you just get lost in that 95% and you forget that that 5% ever existed or ever will exist in the future. So the goal of this movie is really to serve as a reminder to those people who are stuck in that 95%, that 5% is there and it's worth it 100% of the time. I feel like I'm making the movie sound cornier than it actually is by that explanation. Yes, it's a really heavy movie, but it's also really funny, which is probably hard for you to believe. I've always been an expert in masking sadness and humor, so this movie is really just me at my core. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, and hopefully you're gonna come out of this thing with a new perspective on life. Yeah, getting down to the nitty gritty. I really need your help. I have everything in place to make this movie. We're gonna be shooting for about 20 days in July in the Philadelphia area. So the only thing that we really need to start doing now is funding. I'll be totally open with you. To make this movie, I need $500,000, which probably sounds like a lot to you, but in terms of making a feature film, it's like pennies. Some of the funding I plan on getting from brands, private investors, probably invest some of my own money in this thing. But I promise the producers confidently that I would be able to get $200,000 from here, this community here, this channel, which is a huge number. And I'm setting the bar super high just because I know how great you have all been in supporting me just in the past 4 years of setting up this channel. So here I am asking you for help, for me to represent this community and the YouTube filmmaking niche as a whole in creating a feature film. Start a page in my description where you're able to help be a part of this thing. And I based it on a tier system where you get certain incentives based on what you donate. There's a couple things on there, but the one that I'm most pumped on, and I think that you'll be most pumped on, is the premiere tickets I'm gonna be selling. Hopefully I get this movie made by the end of the year and then start showing it in hopefully the beginning of January. And I'm planning on hitting at least 6 different cities in the US: Philly, New York, Toronto, Chicago, LA, and Portland. And if there's higher demand in other cities, maybe we'll go there. There's other options on there, and anything you donate, I'll be more than grateful for. But I'm excited for these premieres. I'm excited to go out and meet the people who actually helped supported the funding of this feature film, hug each and every one of you, answer some questions at the end of the film. Maybe if you're lucky, you get to meet Sansa. And this goes without saying, if you're in an uncomfortable financial situation, please, please, please don't send your money my way. The last thing I want is to put someone in an uncomfortable position trying to help me make a movie. Yeah, this video is really hard for me to make. It's hard to ask people for money. I can't sit here and promise you that it's gonna be the greatest movie that you've ever seen. Like, I've never made a feature film. But what I can promise you is that I have and will put 100% of my heart and soul in this project. And I just need you to trust me and hope that's worth it for you. Yeah, that's it. Check out the link in the description below. Let's make this thing happen. Hopefully I get to watch it with you. And as always, I love you. I don't really know how this thing works. I've never actually used one.